All right.
Ride him out, baby!
All right, excuse me.
How are you feeling?
Sorry. After the guilty verdicts. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Seen as the family left the court today.
I'll go around. So many freaking people here.
And fans and detractors, people who have been gathering here.
How are you feeling?
On the sidewalk, please. Back up.
How are the family feeling about the verdict? How are the family feeling? How are the family feeling about the verdict?
Bless y'all. You ready, bro?
And it is courthouse May.
Well, chaotic scenes outside the court there where Sean Diddy Coombs has been found not guilty of sex trafficking. In the last few moments, we just saw there in that black vehicle in front of the cameras there, his family coming out, his mother, Janice, and 7 of his children, including his twins, Jesse, James and Delilah. I didn't hear him myself, but you may well have heard some bad language during that, and if so, we do apologise. We clearly are not in control of that. But the family have come out of the court and gone into this vehicle. Just a bit of movement there, sort of someone coming back out, maybe somebody else getting back in. You heard Martha Kellner down there shouting out to family members, how are the family feeling? No response, but certainly smiles as they came out of court. And we heard from Martha a short while ago that when they were in court, they were clapping, they were cheering, they were, along with the defence team, hugging themselves, hugging each other. And as for Sean Diddy Coombs, he was apparently on his knees praying. He had given a prayer gesture to the jury after they had delivered their verdict, and he was on his knees praying whilst he was sitting in the court. Now, we were talking to David Arenberg, former state attorney for Palm Beach County in Florida, just a few moments ago, and he was saying it's entirely possible that Sean Diddy Coombs could get released as early as this afternoon. He has been held on remand for quite a while. It is a custodial sentence potentially of as little as 2 years, as many as 20 years possibly that he could serve. But whilst the judge considers that, his passport has been surrendered and his defence team have asked if he can be released on bail. So the judge is going to consider that. He has adjourned the court while he considers that. And he has asked both the defence and prosecution to come back to him to give their thoughts about sentencing at 1 p.m. New York time, which is 6 p.m. UK time. So there will certainly be more activity at the court then. We don't know whether the family are just going to sort of remain there in that vehicle outside the court, whether they've maybe just gone there to shelter from the media glare, or whether that vehicle is going to move away and that they're going to maybe return to the court in a couple of hours' time at 6 p.m. our time. But there is an enormous media scrum outside the court in New York. And as Martha was saying, there is the mainstream media, as they are called. You can see lots of the gazebos in the background of the shot there, where those media are sheltering, but also so many bloggers, so many entertainment correspondents down there, so many influencers down there, all giving their take on what is happening. It is 4 o'clock. You're watching Sky News. If you are just joining us, the breaking news this hour is that Sean Diddy Coombs has been found guilty of 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution at a court in New York, but he has been found not guilty of the more serious charges of racketing and conspiracy and sex trafficking that he was facing. Our correspondent Martha Kellner is down there. She's in that media scrum at the front of the court. Martha, pretty chaotic scenes. We've just seen the family come out and they're now just sitting in that black vehicle just outside the court.
Yeah, the family now just pulling away from this courthouse inside that big black people carrier with blacked out windows. 6 of 7 of Sean Combs's children. The 7th is just a toddler, and in fact the mother of that youngest child was also in court. She's called Dana Tran. She was part of the celebrations that this family had as the verdicts were read out. Our colleagues who were inside the court at that point said that the jury was stony-faced as those verdicts were being read out, not really looking over at Combs, but he nodded towards them as the judge thanked them. He was holding the hand, Sean Combs, of Taney Garagos, who was one of the lead defence lawyers as that verdict was read out. The judge asked Sean Combs if he didn't want to go back to the Metropolitan Detention Centre. That's the prison in Brooklyn where he spent the last 10 months of his life. Sean Combs vigorously shook his head at that. I think it's very clear that he wants to walk away from this courthouse today, even if it means that he spends a portion of time under house arrest. But yeah, as you were saying, it is utter chaos outside this courthouse. There are some members of Sean Combs's family and entourage inside this blacked out people carrier. I'm not entirely sure who is in there. There's a collection of relatives, his children, but also his mother, Janice, bodyguards as well. He has a documentary crew that's been following every move of the family during the past 7 weeks as well. They're inside these 2 vans. You can see it pulling away, but yeah, you know, a collection, an assortment of various people outside this court, the conventional mainstream media, if you like, but then dozens and dozens of members of the general public, of influencers too, who have been live streaming throughout this case. You know, I've covered a lot of celebrity court trials, the trial of R. Kelly, the trial of Donald Trump, and of Ghislaine Maxwell. But this is by far the most chaotic scene I've seen outside a courthouse. There is really no order to things here. And just imagine what it will be like if Sean Combs does indeed walk away from this courthouse this afternoon. The judge, of course, awaiting those applications about sentencing from both the prosecution, the government's team of attorneys, and from his own defence attorneys.
Martha, for people who are just tuning our way, remind us of the key moments of this trial.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a fascinating trial throughout. You know, 7 weeks. The evidence portion of this trial has taken really 2 key star witnesses. Cassandra Ventura, who gave evidence about what she said was a huge power and wealth imbalance in the more than a decade-long relationship that she had with him. She detailed there's people getting into a dispute outside court here. That's what you're seeing on your screen about this verdict. You know, people feel very passionately about this case. Clearly, some on the side of Sean Combs, some on the side of the women who gave evidence in this case. So, as I was saying, the 2 key star witnesses, Cassie Ventura, who gave evidence while almost 9 months pregnant. I found her testimony very affecting. She spoke about being beaten regularly by Sean Combs during their relationship. She said that she lived in fear of him, not only physical fear of him, but she said she feared that he would release videos that he had filmed of these so-called freak-offs. These are the sex marathons, the drug-fueled sex sessions where she says she was forced to have sex with male prostitutes. Those were on camera, and she says that Sean Combs lauded those films over her, that she felt that if she didn't continue to go along with his every wish and desire, that he would release those videos to humiliate her. That was part of the prosecution's case, that Sean Combs blackmailed her. The sex trafficking charges that spoke to, well, this jury didn't believe the prosecution case because they found him not guilty in the sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura, but also of Jane, the woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane. Sean Combs was in a relationship with her up until very recently. In fact, he was still in a relationship with her when Cassie Ventura filed her civil lawsuit against Combs. And Jane actually said to Sean Diddy Combs that reading through that lawsuit that Cassie Ventura had filed was like reading, in her words, her own sexual trauma. But it seems like this jury, in terms of what they've decided, the verdicts that they've handed down, they have sided with Sean Combs over these two women, the two key star witnesses.
Pleased that he's finally been held responsible for two federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is a high standard, and we're just pleased that he still faces substantial jail time. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
How much time?
Doug Wigdor, W-I-G-D-O-R. Well, each is faces up to 10 years on each. I'm not sure what the sentencing guidelines are given the various different things, but I'll leave that up to the government and the defense to argue. But I feel confident in saying he still faces substantial incarceration.
How will you feel if he walks out on bail?
Well, that's up to the judge. I don't have a personal vested interest in this case. Whatever the appropriate thing to do under the law is what should be done. And at the end of the day, he needs to be sentenced pursuant to the guidelines and pursuant to what the law is. My understanding of that is that he faces significant incarceration. So thank you very much.
Thank you.